world thought peace had been secured after World War I, but the seeds of destruction were already sown.
The Treaty of Versailles in 1919 punished Germany harshly, crippling its economy, reducing its army, and humiliating its people. In this shattered world, a voice rose: Adolf Hitler, a man who promised to restore Germany's lost glory. By 1933, he was in power, and soon, Germany was no longer a democracy. Hitler had absolute control.
But while the world looked away, Hitler secretly rebuilt the army and began preparing for war. His first test came in 1936 when German troops marched into the Rhineland, a forbidden zone.
Britain and France protested but did nothing. Hitler realized that fear of war kept his enemies silent. Next stop, Austria. In March 1938, Hitler's army entered Austria. The Austrian people welcomed them, and without a single shot, Austria was part of Nazi Germany. But Hitler's hunger for power grew.
His next target was Czechoslovakia, a strong and independent nation.
He claimed that the Sudetenland, a region with German-speaking people, belonged to Germany. In September 1938,
Britain and France met Hitler in Munich to prevent war.
Hitler promised that if they gave him the Sudetenland, he would ask for no more. They believed him.
The Munich Agreement was signed, and Hitler took the Sudetenland without a fight. Chamberlain returned to Britain, declaring peace for our time.
But Hitler was a liar. 6 months later, in March 1939, he took over all of Czechoslovakia. The world now knew Hitler would never stop. By mid-1939, Hitler was preparing for his most daring move yet, the invasion of Poland. But he had one problem: the Soviet Union.
In a shocking twist, Hitler and Soviet leader Joseph Stalin signed a secret pact in August 1939.
They agreed to divide Poland between them. On September 1st, 1939, Germany invaded Poland. The Blitzkrieg, lightning war, was unleashed. Planes bombed cities.
Tanks rolled through villages, and Poland's defenses crumbled. 17 days later, the Soviet Union invaded Poland from the east. On September 3, 1939, Britain and France declared war on Germany. World War II had begun.
After the fall of Poland, Europe held its breath. But Hitler wasn't done.
April 1940, Germany invaded Denmark and Norway. Denmark fell in hours, and Norway followed within weeks. May 1940, Germany launched a surprise attack on France, Belgium, and the Netherlands.
The German army bypassed France's defenses, the Maginot Line, by going through the Ardennes forest, a move no one expected. In June 1940, Paris fell, and France surrendered. Britain now stood alone. Hitler turned his eyes to Britain. But to invade, he first needed to destroy the British Royal Air Force, RAF. In July 1940, the Battle of Britain began. German bombers attacked airfields and cities.
But the RAF fought back bravely, and by October 1940, Hitler's plans to invade Britain had failed. Britain stood strong, but the war was far from over.
Despite their pact, Hitler never trusted Stalin. In June 1941,
he launched Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion in history. 3 million German soldiers attacked the Soviet Union. They captured vast territories, but the Russian winter slowed them down. By December 1941, German troops reached Moscow, but the Soviet counterattack forced them to retreat.
Hitler had made his greatest mistake. He had woken the Soviet giant.
While Europe burned, Japan expanded its empire in Asia. The United States tried to stay neutral, but Japan had other plans.
On December 7, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor,
sinking American battleships and killing thousands. The next day, the United States declared war on Japan.
Soon after, Germany and Italy declared war on the United States. World War II had now engulfed the world. In 1942, the Axis powers, Germany, Italy, and Japan, seemed unstoppable, but the tide was about to turn. Battle of Stalingrad, August 1942, February 1943. In the bloodiest battle of the war, the Soviet Union destroyed the German Sixth Army. Battle of Midway, June 1942. The U.S. Navy crushed Japan's fleet, halting their advance in the Pacific.
For the first time, the Allies had the upper hand. By 1944, the Allies were ready to take back Europe. On June 6, 1944, D-Day, over 150,000 Allied troops landed on the beaches of Normandy, France.
Despite heavy resistance, they broke through. By August 1944,
Paris was liberated, and the Allies pushed toward Germany.
Hitler's dream was crumbling. In April 1945, Soviet troops entered Berlin.
Hitler, hiding in his bunker, refused to surrender. On April 30, 1945, Hitler took his own life. A week later, on May 7, 1945, Germany surrendered.
The next day, May 8th, was celebrated as Victory in Europe Day, VE Day.
But the war wasn't over yet. Japan refused to surrender, so the US made a fateful decision. August 6, 1945, an atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, killing 80,000 people instantly. August 9, 1945, a second bomb was dropped on Nagasaki, killing 70,000 more. On August 15, 1945, Japan surrendered, ending World War II. World War II had left the world scarred and divided.
Over 70 million people had died. Cities lay in ruins. The United Nations, UN, was created to prevent future wars. The world would never be the same again.
World War II reshaped history, and its impact is still felt today.